Hi, I'm Stephen Hand. Today we're here to look at the Tru Fire Sear back tension release aid. Now there's a whole bunch of back tension release aids on the market. They all work basically the same. And I was looking for a new back tension release aid for myself, and I thought, well, let's do a review on this release aid and let's check out what it's like. Now the first thing is, apparently it's made out of brass and it's anodized. I'm not sure how they anodize brass, but that's what it looks like. It's a very nice finish. It's black, shiny. Now it comes in colors. It comes in a teal, and that's this bit here where you see it red. So the options are teal, green, orange, red, yellow, and this, I think the release aid also comes in small. Now it comes with a spare finger, little finger in the back there. Now that finger replaces that little hook. So instead of being a hook like that, it comes down here, so you get basically a fourth finger. So the colors are impressive. The price point is about where all the other back tension release aids are. You've got the ability to adjust the position of your thumb there. The release aid itself feels nice in the hand. It's got a fair bit of weight, so it's very much like the Halo release aid and all your brass release aids, about the same sort of weight. Now the little lever here, you can see that's been held down. So if I twist it up like that, it's held in with a magnet, and so not a spring, it's a magnet system. So, and you can see the head doesn't fully, most back tensions, they fully move around. Now I was just looking for where my back tension is so I can show you. Now the way they hold this from stop it moving down further, there's a little rod inside the head there. I'm trying to zoom into it, there's a little rod there, and it gets caught on this little thing sticking up. So we want to talk about this. Now the way a normal back tension release aid works is this. So they have a half moon, and what you do is you move this moon to make the release aid faster or slower to trigger. So basically what that's referring to, when you pull back the release aid, you have this point towards the target, and basically the point in which it'll activate will be, you know, there or there or there, depending on how hot you've got it. Now I tend to activate about that angle. Some people activate there, or some people activate there. So that's to do with how hot the release aid is. So if I draw back at that angle, it goes off at about that angle. Some people have it go off there. So I shoot my back tension release aid fairly hot. It's just a comfort thing. So going back to the original diagram, the half moon, there's also a little option here for a click. So what the click is, it's a little mark they make in the moon. And what it does is when the trigger's going through the little, going over that round post, as soon as it hits a click, you hear a click. Now on a normal release aid, to turn the click off, you spin the half moon around. So instead of the trigger moving through here, hitting the click and going click, and then firing in that movement there, you spin it around, and the release aid spins around here, and it's basically smooth all the way through. So the problem with a normal back tension release aid, if you like the click system, the concept of the click is it tells you it's ready to be shot, and it's going to shoot in a very short amount of time. Now there's a release aid from Carter called 2 Moons, and there's another one from Carter called Total Control. That enables you to move the position at which the click goes off. So you can determine that the click goes off there, and I want to move that much till it physically shoots. That's if you like it. Most release aids you cannot adjust the click. Now with the Sear release aid, it gives you 3 options on the click. So basically, if we go here, this is what their moon system looks like. It looks like a star, and you've got these four positions you can set your release aid to. So 1, 2, and 3, the click occurs in a different position. So the first position will be the shortest, the next slightly longer, and the next slightly longer. So basically, if you like a big adjustment between each click, you basically move it to that position. If you like no click, which is what I shoot, then you move it to the 4th position there. Now with this system, to move it to hot and cold, go back to the diagram. So if we're here, you've only got this amount of movement. So if you're operating on this click here, you've only got this amount of movement to set the back tension. So you've got 2 grub screws which will screw into this moon system here. So you've only got between here and here. So if you try and screw the grub screws into here, which is a space, the grub screw will basically screw all the way through and drop out. So it's got to be on one of these 4 positions. So your adjustment with this release aid is not as great as most back tension release aids, but it's still not a bad looking release aid. It feels quite nice in the hand, and it's used by a lot of professionals at the moment. So now I've experimented with moving these moon positions, and we're going to do it in this video. So to move from one click to another click, so you've got 4 positions. To move it, you've got to take out the rod, which is that little Allen key there. There's a rod, so then you just tap the rod and the rod comes out. So that enables the 4 moons to basically rotate. You've got an Allen key then just there and there that you need to basically move. Loosen off to enable this system here to move. So you can see right now I'm on number 1. Try and zoom up nice and close. So when it says I'm on number 1, I'm not, because I'm actually working off this moon system here. So I'm actually on number 4, if that makes sense. So that's number 1, and number 4 will be back here. And this is the moon here, which I'm actually operating on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a shot with this and sort of see how it feels, and I'm going to adjust the pressure at which this release aid goes off. Now, questions on why you want to shoot back tension versus a thumb or versus a wrist release. Back tension, basically, if you're normally aiming at the target, your brain's normally going, when do I shoot, when do I shoot, when do I shoot? So if you're aiming on an animal, you're going, when do I shoot, when do I shoot? With a back tension, you're aiming and you're going, God, I wish this release aid would fire. So basically you're aiming longer, and your brain's not thinking, oh, when will I shoot, when will I shoot, when will I shoot? Your brain's thinking, I wish it would shoot, I wish it would shoot, I wish it would go, and then it shoots. And hopefully when it goes off, you're in the middle of the target. Now these back tension release aids, I'm going to say, take time to learn to shoot. It's not like pressing a button. These things take time. I allowed 3 months to learn my target to shoot my back tension release aid. I probably became comfortable after 6 months, and we're going to go through this process now with this release aid. I've actually shot 1 shot with this release aid so far, and I did it at about 1 meter away from the target, which is what we're going to do now for the video. So we're going to go and shoot 1 shot and have a look. Oh, now on the, there's instructions inside, and I hate reading instructions, so I found the instructions, they're kind of easy to understand, but for me, I'm a boy, I'm not that smart, so I found it a bit confusing, and I think they could probably be written simpler. Now this little thing here to undo, the instructions say there's 2 screws. I can't see 2 screws. 1 screw there, you basically undo it, and this little pin here comes out. I just tapped it, the pin fell out, and this thing came off. Now to put the other one back in, it's the same process in reverse. So you'll see the little grub screw there, and I'll just go on the back. The little grub screw, what the grub screw does, it changes the position of this finger, so you move it around like that. And just a pin to hold it in. You kind of think there should be something in there to hold that pin in place, but it doesn't seem to move. It just seems to be held in there by pressure. So let's go and have a shot with this release aid. And one of the things that attracted me to this release aid was the color, because let's say I've got a gold bow, which I've got at the moment, or I've got a red bow, I can have a matching release aid to it, and I think that's pretty cool. So let's go and have a shot. Okay, so we're out here to have a shot with the Sear. Now the first thing I'm going to compare is the Scott back spin release aid. Now you'll see with this, it can actually fold right the way down. With the Sear, it can't, and that's because it's got the bar there, so it's only got limited movement. So I'm going to say, is it easier? The Scott has a magnet inside it as well. It's probably a little bit easier to do with this. It's not really an issue. I don't see there's a need for that bar, but that's what they have. So the first thing, you stand really close to the target. And when shooting a back tension for the first time, I always recommend shooting an extremely light bow, like 20 pounds. So I have a bow in my shop, a Martin, set at about 20 pound, which I give to people to shoot when they're trying out back tension for the first time. So it makes it a bit easier. You don't want to be drawing back a 70 pound hunting bow or a 60 pound target bow with a back tension release aid for the first time, because you're likely to punch yourself in the mouth. Right, so just for people who haven't shot back tension, I put my thumb on there, and basically the weight is not on these two fingers. My weight is getting pulled with these two fingers here. So basically that little red thing there is pointing towards the target. If that's pointing towards the target, you're not going to punch yourself in the mouth. So the loading system is easy, it hooks on. So let's just try it. So I pull back. Now the release aid itself, I'm going to start to take my thumb off the peg, and then I'm going to apply tension, and I'm trying to rotate. Now I'd like to be shooting about now, so it's not going off now. So I'm pulling, and I'm going, oh God, I wish it went off. So this is too cold for me. I'm still trying to get this thing activated. Still not going. Come on, please shoot. Oh, please. You can see how much further around. Oh, like it was so cold. I felt like I was at that angle to get this thing to go off, and I probably wasn't. But we've got to make this hotter for me to shoot this release aid. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so Allen key sets come in two sizes, small and large. You need the small version to do this. Now you need to adjust this release aid, you need two Allen keys, the 0.5 and the 1/16. Now to adjust the speed, I only need the 1/16, so it's the second smallest Allen key. There's a little screw there and there's a screw there. We need to loosen them just enough to make this move. Now I'm going to move this back that way. So I'm going to just loosen it, and I'm just going to try loosening one side, and one side didn't work. So then the other side, and then I can just feel the movement. And I'm just pressing on this with my finger. Now I've tightened those back up. So you're going to say, is there micro adjustment? No, there's not. So release aids which have micro adjustment, like the Tru Bull HT, hot tension, they have micro adjustment, but they have a spring inside to enable the micro adjustment. And I find that turning the click on and click off, sometimes it can take me 10 minutes to get that spring back in. So I was just wanting it a little bit quicker. So now we'll see. So now you just have a feel. So you grab the bow, gain point blank distance from the target. I'm literally standing half a meter from the target. And you just want to get the feel of the trigger and go, is it going off when I want it to go off? I'm sorry, I'm just checking my arrow because the knock feels really loose. Okay. So I'm in the main position here. I'm drawing. I want it to shoot about here. About here somewhere. Now, it's way too slow for me. Way too slow. So that's way too slow still. So I've got to make that faster. And this is what you've got to do when you get a back tension release aid. You've got to sit here and go, is it feeling about right or not about right for me? And on the side here that says hot, so you kind of know which way you're going to move this little trigger. So I loosen them, tighten them back up, and then we do it all again. Now the other release aids, my first back tension release aid was a Tru HT release aid, which I really liked, but someone had decided they liked it better than I do, so that one disappeared. So then the backspin, Scott backspin, I've been really happy with. I wanted to shoot about here. Bang. Getting a lot closer. I'm just going to shoot one more. Now watch other people's reviews on bow companies and on products. I was watching one from a guy, I'm not going to mention his name. He goes, this company provides great service, great backup service, and I thought to myself, are you a shop? I'm not having a go at him if it sounds like I am. They may give him really good service, right? But it's up to your shop, whichever shop you deal with. I find the level of service varies from company to company so much. So there's a company that makes sights and release aids. There's probably a couple of companies that make sights and release aids. And I've been waiting 3 months for a shipment from them. And they said to me, oh, that's the way it is. You know, we're really behind at the moment because we've moved our factory, so you can probably work out which one it is. I'm like, 3 to 4 months to get product. And I only just watched a review from this guy going, this company is excellent. I'm going 3 to 4 months to wait for releases to come in. Anyway, so I contacted one of my friends in America. I said, how long does it take you to get release dates from this company? He goes, 1 or 2 days. 3 months. 4 months, I haven't got them yet. Hence, I'm trying out one of these. So you now can work out which company it is, but normally they're pretty good. But I'm like, oh, jeez. I just can't run a company where you've got to wait 4 months for gear. I wanted to shoot about here. So it's taking too long to get the shot off still. It's real close to where I want to be. So just one more adjustment and hopefully then we're going to be there. Now I like this release aid. The grip feels nice in my hand. As far as other release aids I've tried, what it feels similar to, it feels very similar to standard back tension release aids. Stand are very, very narrow. This is probably a little bit thicker than a stand in my opinion, but definitely thinner than the Scott and Tru Ball. I'm going to say with other, because I just had a pot shot at that company I suppose. I'm going to say other companies like Tru Ball, I'm kind of waiting from the time I place an order for accessories or if I have issues, probably 2 weeks, and that's more than acceptable. Even 3 weeks I'm happy with. But it's just like 3 or 4 months, and people go, really, 3 or 4 months? Look, some companies are longer, so it's just the way it is. Right, so when you draw this back, same as before. Drawing. I wanted to shoot around about here. And I'm pretty happy with that position. It kind of triggers when I want it to. It feels pretty good in the shot. So now it's just a matter of practicing with this release aid and see if my groups are better with this than the back tension. But overall, I'm just going to fire another one. Feels pretty comfortable. I'm happy with the way the grip feels. I actually feel more comfortable with this than the backspin to shoot. yeah, that feels pretty good. It's triggering about where I want it to trigger. So yeah, I feel pretty good. Now comparing this to the back spin's got a bearing system. Sometimes the bearing system, I've shot it for basically 2 years. Sometimes the bearing system is a little bit jammy, which sometimes makes it hard to get the shot off, and I assume that's why the pros have gone away from it. This just feels nice. I mean, there's some big pro tuning this release at the moment. Levi Morgan has one, but it feels comfortable in the grip. This feels like in a good position, this little hook. Now on that, Tru Ball produced the HBC. Now I find the hook a little bit big because I try and take my pressure off this finger, and I'm finding when I'm taking this shot that getting the pressure off that finger is just no problem at all. So I'm finding it really, really good. Yeah, I really like it. Now with the click versus non-click, I find a lot of beginners will start with a click, and my partner is shooting a click at the moment, and she's finding she's starting to flinch with the click. Now that's exactly what happened to me. So then you'll see people turn the click off. It's just personal preference, and like I said, how easy it is to turn off and on. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this release aid. The Tru Fire Sear Release aid. Now I generally talk about company performance, how they ship, and all that sort of stuff. Now the Sear Release aid was slow when it first got released, so even though you saw the date on that package, they didn't arrive to me in that time frame. Tru Fire, generally, I'm going to say is a great company. As far as problems with Tru Fire products, I cannot think of one ever. I'm not saying you're not going to have a problem with this is pretty simple. You're never going to have an issue with this. It's impossible to have a problem with this. But they're pretty good as far as bulletproof products. They produce a whole range of hunting accessories. I'm going to say their thumb release aids are probably a little bit not up to scratch with the top companies, but this definitely looks good. And they ship pretty quick. So if a shop was out of a particular color, let's say you wanted gold, they didn't have gold, I'm going to say Tru Fire, you know, my sales guy at Tru Fire, I reckon he probably does them in about a week, and I'd even give him 2 weeks before even hassling him. But he's pretty quick, and he's got my shipments out as quick as a day, because sometimes I'm shipping by container and he can move my stuff within a day out of wherever they are. So they are a very good company. I'm very happy to sell Tru Fire. Yeah, and I like this release aid, so I'm going to give this one a bash for a while, in probably the red color, because I'm probably going to get another red bow, even though this is a gold bow. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, Tru Fire Sear. Give it a go, and always, you know, if you can, if you've got people in the club and they let you shoot their gear, go and give their gear a go. If the local pro shop will give you gear to have a shot with, go and have a go with it, because that's, you know, have a go, see how it feels. To me, this feels really comfortable straight off the bat, easy to adjust, easy to load. I'm just happy with it, so it's just really a matter of picking which color. So anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery, and the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot, and especially with the back tension release aid. They just take a lot of time and a lot of work to get to work. Thank you for watching. Bye.